Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'd like to thank the gentleman of Texas for this time. I think it's important for us to understand the importance of this legislation and the opportunity that this literally presents for the protection of our wives and our daughters across this nation. I visited with Jan Sepich. Her daughter, Katie, literally had to fight for her life. And the only evidence after her body was discovered, raped and burned in a garbage dump, was the DNA collected under those fingernails. Well, we now have the empirical evidence that had Katie's Law been in place at that time, we could have saved an additional 13 lives. 12 women who were raped and murdered, another who was pregnant with a child. That is the importance and the timeliness as well of moving forward with this legislation. In the state of Colorado, we've taken perpetrators off the street. In fact, one of the challenges that we don't often discuss is not just future events that potentially could happen, but bringing resolution to families who have lost a loved one. Solving cold cases. In the state of Colorado, we've now had 398 people identified for past crimes, those unsolved murders that haunt families. This is a piece of legislation that's revenue neutral for Americans. A piece of legislation that's going to provide that opportunity for other states to do what Colorado has been able to accomplish. To be able to pass legislation that is going to stand up to be able to protect our daughters, our wives, from violent predators impacting families across this country. The time is now. It is of essence. We're approaching the 10th anniversary of the death of Katie Sepich. I would see no greater tribute to her, her mother and father, and all families across this country than to put forward this legislation, allow it to pass and to move forward, and to be able to do the right thing. This is legislation designed so well that when we look at those identifiers, it is a 21st century fingerprint. We cannot tell the color of skin. We cannot tell the color of hair. It is just an identifier for who the person is. It's well thought out. It's important. I believe our daughters, our wives, our mothers count on this type of practical legislation. I urge its adoption. I thank the gentleman from Texas and